Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Public Speaking and Presentation Skills Basics channel. I'm John Brandt, and I've been teaching presentation skills for about 10 years now in the corporate environment, and I'd love to share some of the techniques, tips, and tricks that I've taught and observed and heard from my students in these classes and share them with you on this channel. So today we'll go over some of the more high-level ideas around public speaking and giving good presentations. And then as I go along in this channel, we'll deep dive into these areas and other areas as well to help you both with your public speaking skills and then also with generating really good, engaging presentations for your audience. All right, so for today, we're going to go over 5 basics that are good to think about when doing public speaking or any form of presentations at work in various environments with various audiences. Number 1 is to know your audience and to tailor your message accordingly. So you want to make sure that if you're presenting to, let's say, leads or maybe a team that isn't familiar with your work, or maybe peers, or maybe a combination of all of the above, that you are creating content that will be engaging to all of those groups, that will answer questions to all those groups. For instance, maybe the leads only care about just high-level concepts. Maybe if it's to another team that isn't familiar with what you do, you can make sure you outline any acronyms that are used or any terminology that applies specifically to what you're presenting on. And just making sure that the overall content itself is engaging to your specific audience. So again, something to really think about and consider is, who am I presenting to? What kind of message do I want to give them? And how can I convey this message to make it an engaging and informative presentation for that group? Number 2 is to develop and structure the content of your presentation or public speaking speech around your audience. Again, let's go with the example we heard earlier. Let's say you're presenting to a group of leads at your company. They probably don't want to get into the weeds of whatever your specific area of expertise is. You want to go a little higher level and explain to them, let's say, maybe why an idea you have would help the overall company succeed in the long run. So you want to tailor that as a more high level message as opposed to going down into the nitty gritty of what you do in your role every day. But again, let's say that you're presenting to a group of peers and you're just trying to inform them of what you have been working on and areas you might need help with. That maybe you can go into a little more in the weeds with. They're familiar with your type of work. They'd want to hear more about, again, how they can actually help you. So take a step back, think about who your audience is, and develop your presentation around that group. Number 3, you want to have confident body language. So when you're presenting your material, you don't want to be stumbling on the actual material itself or having, we'll talk about nerves in a second as well. You want to convey that you are knowledgeable, approachable, a subject matter expert in your area you're presenting on. And you can do that with direct eye contact with your audience, whether it's virtual. Make sure you're looking directly into the camera when presenting to them and that you're centered, and you can still use hand gestures like I'm using now to bring some dynamism and energy to your presentation. If you're in person, it does help to continually have eye contact around the room, do inclusive gestures like I'm doing now with my hands, and make sure that you're in a good posture, good position. You're not slumped. You don't have hands in your pocket. You don't have your shoulders up where you look nervous. Just a very cool, confident, clear speaker that is presenting to the group. And we'll go over again more of these in depth. This is a high level video. We'll go into all of these areas and more in upcoming videos. But again, just high level, just think about, am I conveying confidence to my audience? Number 4, I mentioned this earlier, but when thinking about nerves, it makes sense. Jerry Seinfeld said that among Americans, their number 1 fear is public speaking. Number 2 is death. So they'd rather be in the casket than reading the eulogy. That's not where we want to be. Hopefully this channel will help you get over that fear of public speaking. But there are some things you can do to calm your nerves. And they sound very basic, but you can do simple breathing in and out a few times. Again, your posture will help a lot with conveying messages to your brain about how confident you are in your presentation. You could also put your arms up like this, like the victory pose. This mentally sends a message to your brain that you've done it, you've accomplished something great, and you can do this. So this is what you naturally do when you win something. You can stand, again, this is recommended, not in your presentation, but maybe in a room beforehand, stand like this and send that message to your brain about your confidence. We're going to talk about this in the next tip, but ensuring you've done rehearsals of the material is really helpful as well to ensure that, you know what, I'm not going to stumble on this. I know the content inside and out, and you won't be thinking, oh, I don't remember what that slide was. I don't remember what I was going to say next. You'll have the confidence of, I've practiced this many times. I can now do this to a broader group. And last but not least, number 5 is to rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. I say this in every class I teach for public speaking. Again, I just mentioned it earlier. It'll help with your nerves. It'll help you ensure that you can focus on the group at hand and any questions they might have during your presentation. Really rehearse your material as much as you can before giving the presentation. You don't want to be stumbling on your slides or stumbling on the content. That's going to be really distracting for the audience. They're going to know that you didn't really put time, effort, or care into the presentation. So rehearse it with yourself, just like I'm doing in front of a camera, and even in front of a mirror. Number 2 is to rehearse in front of a peer who can give you some feedback on how the presentation itself is, the content, and also how you are presenting it. And then number 3 is to, if you can, maybe include a few people, the type of audience you might have, because not only can they give you tips on your presentation style and delivery, but they can give some tips on the content as well. So rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. A lot of people will take the time they know that they've made the content, they think they don't need to rehearse it, but it really helps to actually say it out loud and to figure out how the flow of your presentation is going, and maybe even where you can change some of the content. So remember that as well. All right, well, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully these high-level tips helped you. Please comment below on any areas you'd like me to deep dive into. Again, I've been teaching this class in person for over 10 years now, so there have been a lot of questions, really good questions that come up in my classes, and I'd love to hear if there's specific areas or concepts or anything with both just speeches, public speaking, to presentations at work, any form where you're presenting to an audience. I'd love to hear any thoughts, questions, comments you have. Please comment below. I do teach this class as well as a consultant, so if you're interested in that, please message me. I'll include my contact info, and I do one-on-one, day-long classes as well as one-on-one coaching. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. I'm really looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts and questions, and I'll be back soon with another video on public speaking and presentation skills tips.